Hey guys, how are y'all doing? As a matter of fact, it has been so long since I've picked up the camera here in the reptile room that literally cages are missing, everything is totally different. But if y'all look, this whole wall of reptiles is gone. There was a shelf that went from here all the way to here with animals. That shelf is gone. There's also a shelf right here that had reptiles and it went across with these two, and that shelf is gone. So now we're down to 3 individual shelves here in the reptile room. But like the title and thumbnail says, we are building an enclosure. As a matter of fact, we are building the exact same size enclosure as the one that my milk frogs are in back there. As you can see, this thing is absolutely ginormous. This is one of the largest enclosures I've ever had in my reptile room, just like the milk frog tank. We've got a whole bunch of materials here that we're going to be using for this build. We're setting this up for a customer of mine, and this is a custom background, custom enclosure, custom build for leaf-tail geckos. We're going to get rid of this ugly styrofoam background and then create our own. Okay, so now what we're going to do is start creating our ledges. We're going to use this pink insulation foam to really create a nice ledge. And we're going to take our Sharpie and basically just draw it the way we want it. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to probably start right over at the edge here. And we're just going to create a nice little natural looking rock ledge. Just like so. We're going to kind of angle it in different ways. Maybe make it smaller. We'll kind of go back up, make it taller. Just create these really nice, realistic looking ledges. And there we have it. That is one of the ledges. We've also got all these other kind of test sheets. So what we can do is cut out what we want and use what we want. Now, of course, the ledges will not be pink. At the very end, they will be coated the proper color and look a little bit more natural. You can also use this foam to create different barriers and layers. Really manipulate this pink insulation foam as much as you need and as much as you want to create an awesome looking background. We've got a bunch of ledges kind of cut out, drawn out, and made. So if we take, say, this one for example, we set it in the enclosure just like so. Boom. Just like that. You can kind of see the design it makes. Now, it doesn't look like much yet, but also if we double stack another one, say underneath it, like that, and maybe one more on the top, like that, you officially have an entire ledge piece. That looks really good, actually. And what you can do is cover those, paint those, and make them look a whole lot more natural. So yeah, that's kind of the idea we're going for with some of these. We will pick up the camera as we make more progress. And so this is the progress we have made. This is basically the standpoint we are at. We've got kind of our ledges in place. They are not officially staying there, and we've got some work to do on those. But just as an idea, we know what the ledges will look like. I kind of added some tape here so I know where to stop the foam. That way I don't go into the substrate layer. We've got our log. It was cut up already, so we went ahead and cut that log up. Now we've got 3 different pieces here that we can add into the enclosure. So we are making a huge amount of progress. We've got a lot of work to do. So I think we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is adding all of our spray foam. Okay, our shelves are kind of glued together. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but it'll turn out a lot better as we progress. We've also opened up our dry lock here. As you can see, we have this huge thing of fresh dry lock. So we're going to start basically putting some of that in these cups, dyeing it the colors we want. Then we'll start brushing it over our ledges to create those really natural looking rocky ledges. Alright, I know it doesn't look like a whole lot yet, but the ledges are done. So we're going to go ahead and wait a few hours, let them dry, then we will start foaming the enclosure. And in case you're wondering what is going in this cage, it is actually going to be leaf-tail geckos. I think like 5 of them or something like that. So they will absolutely love it in this massive enclosure. But without further ado, let's get our foam in, let's get our rocks, our wood, kind of build out the hardscape, then we will foam everything. Let's go ahead and work on that now. Just move all this, and look at that. These look like rocks, but they're as light as a feather. Alrighty, y'all, the foam is in, the ledges are in, the wood is in. It does not look like much right now. To be honest, it does not look that great, but once we get the dry lock and the foam carved, it'll look a whole lot better. So we're just going to wait a few hours, if not the rest of the day, to let all of this dry, and then we will come back tomorrow or another day whenever I have time and start working on this some more. Like I said, we've got the dry lock, we've got the Dremel, we've got all of our carving materials, so the next step from here is to carve the foam and then start dry locking over the foam. We're basically going to take our carving knife and just start carving away at the excess foam. Just like that. You see it fall, you just carve it away, carve it away, carve it away, just like that. Boom. Now once we get all of the foam looking nice and smooth and carved like these parts right here, then we can actually start dry locking that, but we'll work on that later on. Alright, so now we've got the Dremel, we've also got my little brother right here, and we've got the shop vac. So these three tools, the Dremel, my little brother, and the shop vac, are all going to come in handy today. What we're going to do is we're going to use the Dremel to start kind of carving the little tiny areas that are hard to reach. And along with using the Dremel, it's going to create a lot of dust. So Jonah, that's where you come into play. You and the shop vac are going to vacuum up the dust as I Dremel. That way we're not inhaling hazardous chemicals. You don't want to inhale hazardous chemicals, do you? And by the way, this is the progress we have right now, so it is way better than it originally was. As you can see, a lot of that foam has been carved back really nicely. But if you look in little areas like this, or like right here, those shiny little spots will stick out if we don't carve them. So we're going to use the Dremel to get all of those small little areas throughout this exhibit. Alrighty, y'all, this is the progress we've made. So now what we're going to do is carve up the last few little pieces. Then we'll add silicone to the borders of the enclosure. That way the foam sticks. From there, we can actually start dry locking, but so far, so good. Now here are some of the items that you will be needing to do your own dry lock background. First is, of course, the dry lock. I've showed y'all this already. Next is going to be your liquid color. This stuff is really, really good, really helpful, and will create that natural looking background color. You're also going to want some disposable cups, and along with maybe a disposable sheet or tray to kind of help catch any of the paint that does fall on the ground. Also having like a mixing stick will be helpful, and also having several of these cheap wooden brushes is going to be very helpful. Make sure to buy plenty of these, that way you have plenty of brushes to use for your background. What we're going to do is put some dry lock in each cup and then a little bit of the color in each cup. That way we have two different colors, two different accents. We've also got some acrylic paint that we'll add on after. And there we have it, y'all. The background is complete. Wow. Just wow. That thing looks awesome. So a couple little things that we have, little pieces that are integrated. Of course, we've got 3 different pots throughout the enclosure. You can see them 1, 2, and 3. So 3 pots that have been painted and built in so we can actually put plants here and grow plants out. Along with that, down this way we have all of our rocky background. And one of the coolest details in my opinion is the ledges. These ledges feel just like rock. They're kind of hard like rocks, but in reality they only weigh about 1 pound or less each. But the ledges really help create a nice rocky look and really add to the detail on this enclosure. Along with that, the certain gaps and cracks, we added our paint to kind of conceal everything and really just make everything look a little bit more natural. And then going around the side, another little detail is I actually painted all of the sides black, so now it's this nice smooth black color. And I actually did that with the background. Let's see if we can move it here. Hold on, here we go. Ooh, move. One more. Oh, there we go. And as you can see, the whole back is actually been painted black. If I shine the light, you can really see how dark everything is. So now there's no color of that foam, that white ugly foam color. On another video, we'll probably actually start building it and adding plants and adding the animals, but I think that'll be another time. But for now, wow, this thing looks insane. But with all that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Guys, I've got a lot of updates coming to you guys here very soon, so stay tuned for all of that. And hey, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace!